Welcome back, Red Talks. You already know what it is. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't, make sure you go over to the Spotify. And I'm with my brother today. Introduce yourself.
What's going on? I'm back. It's Shaquille Qatari.
Come on, man. Shaquille Qatari. We're out here. And we was having a crazy conversation about the Titanic and all the conspiracy theories around of it. I wouldn't even call them conspiracy theories because I feel like some of this information is public information. It's just that we're not looking into it deep enough. I feel like what we're doing is being sidetracked by the main media, which they usually do to us anyway, and making us believe things that are not actually true. So I don't even feel like we're going into conspiracy. I feel like we're just unveiling knowledge that might not have been public before.
Do you know what it is? It's the fact that if you wasn't there, how can you prove it? That's what they're trying to run with. Do you know, we haven't got you banged to rights. And that's when they're going to start saying, oh, this is all theory and this is all conspiracy. But
it's not.
There's too many reasons to believe that it's not a conspiracy.
So, first thing about the Titanic, there is many different theories when it comes to the Titanic. But before we get to that, let's go through some facts.
Okay. Because
you know what, I ain't just starting and we're talking conspiracy. Let's get some facts out there because facts is important.
110%. Let's talk about JP Morgan, the man who saved America, to say, right? So JP Morgan funded/built the Titanic. JP Morgan was booked on the voyage but cancelled at the last second.
Fact.
Friend of JP Morgan, Milton Hersey, also cancelled at the last moment and survived to build the Hersey food empire.
Fact.
There was no red flares on board to signal to any boats for rescue. Only white flares that signal a party and that everything is okay.
Fact.
It was the first ship of its kind with the ability to seal decks electromagnetically, which could also seal people below deck.
Fact.
The Captain Edward Smith was one of the most decorated captains of his time and would have been totally out of character by avoiding precautions.
Fact.
The author of the book was poisoned to death a couple years after the Titanic sank.
Fact.
The Federal Reserve was formed the very next year.
Fact.
The Astor family was one of the richest families in the world, and John Astor III opposed the Federal Reserve.
Fact. He just gave you all the facts, so we're going to give you even more. So now I'm going to say what they say is a conspiracy. Now, if you don't know who JP Morgan is, then he owns all banks. He owns all banks. He's actually the reason why banks actually formed and had sectors in the way that they operate today. And JP Morgan is a part of the Illuminati. Let's call a spade a spade. He's 100% Illuminati. So in this conspiracy, it says that the Illuminati involvement, conspiracy theorists, people that research a lot, claim that the sinking of the Titanic was orchestrated by a secretive Illuminati organization as part of global control agenda. But what could that global agenda be, Shaq? Like, why would JP Morgan want to sink a ship with people on it? Like, why would he even have an intention to want to do something like that?
Well, we all hear about this new world order, right? And this one world currency. I guess that's what JP Morgan wanted to do based on what we've just read from the facts, right? They wanted to make the Federal Reserve. And this is kind of where, like, I feel like it goes deeper into the rabbit hole, because even when we look at Bitcoin, for example, and I bring Bitcoin in this because no one really knows who the founder is of Bitcoin. Not one single person. But we full-fledged are invested in this cryptocurrency, this type of technology. And what I think is getting us used to is by forgetting about the printed notes, forgetting about what actual money actually is.
Question. When's the last time you took money out?
Well, to get my hair cut, to be honest.
Me as well. Barbers are doing the dodgy thing. Barbers are dodgy. I swear down. See the trim? Man had to go to the cash point and take money out. But I don't usually go to the cash point.
Yeah.
Everything's by card.
Yeah.
I can be honest with you. Yeah, I don't really even use cash. Even today, I used cash to buy something. I bought the water with cash, and I was like, this feels different.
But do you know what it is, right? I think more or less, I'm not particularly educated on the subject, right? But I don't think you need to be really educated to understand what common sense is, you know, to the degree, right? Because it's quite clearly obvious JP Morgan funded the Titanic. Now, let's just say for argument's sake, he spent 1.5 million on building the ship. Tell me why you would cancel at the last minute. And so did your business partner as well. There was clearly other wealthy men. It was clearly stated as a fact that the lower deck was controlled electromagnetically, meaning that they could shut anyone off from leaving.
It was 7.5 million to actually do it. But today, that would be equivalent of 200 million.
200 million?
Yeah. In equivalent of today's money.
Bro, if you spend 200 million on a party boat, are you not turning up? Like,
a million percent, bro.
Like,
a million percent. I didn't say zillion, a million percent.
And you got to think of what was the reason of building such thing anyway, right? Because clearly quite obvious, right? We look at these types of events, there's clearly wealthy people on there. So it was a beneficial for JP Morgan to be associating with other wealthy people on there. What was the intention behind building the Titanic? Was it just to have a party, or was there a potential business deal that was going to happen?
I generally, well, from what it says, they was trying to build an unsinkable ship. That was the whole thing. They thrived on the point and made it like, and that's why I think it's a conspiracy, because if you give me the intention that this is a unfuelable car, I'm gonna drive it till its Lord's end.
Yeah, of course.
With the intention, but now maybe I'm stuck somewhere where I'm dying. Because if you've told me that and I'm out on sea in an unsinkable ship, I ain't thinking that's gonna happen to me. So I'm feeling more secure. That's
why they say, oh, the iceberg, you know, because it's inevitable. If you're gonna hit like a rock, right? It doesn't matter how energy efficient your vehicle is. You know, your vehicle's gonna be destroyed. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, cool. If we're gonna build an unsinkable ship, didn't they have the fact that they could bump into something that could make it sink? What makes it not sinkable?
I couldn't.
What makes a ship not sinkable? Seriously,
anything is prone to human error, and is prone to just mechanical error, mechanical faults. So for the fact that they used that statement, unsinkable, I believe that statement was used as a phrase to draw certain individuals in. Now, if me and you are business partners, and I said, look, we're going to have a big business meeting on this boat, yeah? You book your flight, tell your children and family to come, and all your children, all your family, everyone's there. And I'm like, I'm going to be there as well. And at the last minute, bro, I say, nah, I'm not coming.
No, he was there. And he left the ship at the last minute.
Yeah, because the guys that was on the boat with him were his friends. So if me and all my friends are on a boat to go somewhere, if I tell you I'm not going from the start, you might be like, you might opt out as well. So then that means I can't get you to do what I want you to do. Yeah. The real plan was to set up a woman to set man up and kill man. Trust me, there was bare different ways of how man was going to try and do man. But you know what? Flip it. Because people have to understand this. Someone said, why didn't they just get a hit woman or hit man to just poison him? Why do they have to sink a whole ship? Now, understand, the ship means nothing. Ship means nothing. But let me tell you something. This is where people have to understand. The Titanic was built by someone called the White Star Line. That's a company that owned the Titanic. It had insurance policies on the ship and its cargo. The Titanic was insured for the total value of approximately 1.5 million at the time, which is equivalent to $10 million of today. I can get insurance to pay me out. Because people don't actually understand, sometimes what looks like a calamity to some is a business opportunity to others.
True.
It's like COVID. How many businesses thrived through COVID and how many businesses suffered? There's some businesses that went crazy. I'll give you an example. Amazon, I saw on the news, like, they've hit the record ceiling of sales. They've never hit the ceiling in their life before. Amazon literally took over the world, bro. Amazon's been ruling the world anyway, but I'm saying like they hit a threshold they've never hit before. I think it was like trillion or something.
But I think it's a bit deeper than just the insurance payout. Because look, from what I'm reading in this article, John Jacob Astor V, the richest man in the world at the time, okay? And he opposed.
Was he on the ship?
Yeah.
And he
no,
died?
no. Wait. Hold on. John Astor III opposed the Federal Reserve, right? So I believe, from what this article is saying, that he was on the ship. John Jacob Astor V, the richest man in the world at the time, a friend of Nikola Tesla, and an outspoken opponent of the creation of the Federal Reserve.
But what was his thing about the Federal Reserve that was the problem? Because what is it that makes the Federal Reserve so evil? Now, because for me personally, the Federal Reserve was like a way of how to suck everyone's money. That's how I look at it. But what is the Federal Reserve? Let's type that in.
Also, while you have a look, right, people believe that did JP Morgan get the idea of how to kill off the opposition to the Federal Reserve from a book written 14 years prior. And it's called Futility of the Wreck of the Titan. And the reason why they believe it is because it has similarities to the Titanic.
Oh, okay. So now the Federal Reserve makes sense. Now we're making sense.
Okay. Why'd you say that?
Whoever's in power of the Federal Reserve is the richest person. They own all money.
Yeah, because John Astor V was the richest man and he opposed it. So if he's the richest man and he opposed this Federal Reserve, it ain't happening.
The Federal Reserve, often referred to as Fed, is the central banking system of the United States. It was established in 1913 with the enactment of the Federal Reserve Act in response to financial panics and to provide a more stable and flexible monetary system. The Federal Reserve has several key responsibilities. The monetary policy. The Fed's primary objective is to promote maximum employment, stable prices, and a moderate long-term interest rates. It uses various tools such as adjusting interest rates and controlling the money supply to influence economic conditions. Of course, they wanted the richest man out of power because they wanted to control his money. It's all about money. You follow the money and you find out who's doing what. The Titanic never sunk for no other reason than somebody wanted to build this, and there was people on that boat that was opposing that. As soon as they left, now I've got my door to open.
Yeah, because the Federal Reserve opened 2 years after the Titanic ship.
2 years?
Did it say 2 years?
I swear Titanic, it opened on 1913. If I'm right, the Titanic sinked in like 1913, or 1914, one of them years.
That's the same year. That can't be right. Are you sure?
100%. No, 1912. Sorry, my bad.
So the Titanic shipped
1912.
That's when the Titanic sunk, yeah?
And 1913 is when the Federal Reserve. So your facts actually right.
So 2 years after, yeah?
No, 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah, 1912, 1913. So you was literally on point. So number two, the second thing that the Federal Reserve is good for, banking supervision and regulation. The Federal Reserve oversees and regulates banks and other financial institutions to ensure the safety and soundness of the banking system. It sets standards of conduct, examinations to enforce compliance with banking laws and regulations. So in other words, it makes sure that you're paying your taxes. Basically, these people are on point. Financial stable system. The Fed monitors and addresses risks to the stability of the financial system. It plays a crucial role in responding to the financial crisis, providing liquidity to banks and implementing measures to maintain stability. Nah, let's type in something else, man. Because it seems like they're on the side of it.
Do you know what? It's around 12,500 feet the Titanic actually sunk. Bro, this don't make... For perspective, the world's deepest scuba diver reached 1,090 feet in 2022, while the tallest building of the Burj Khalifa would only go down 2,717 feet into the ocean, still roughly 9,700 feet short of reaching the Titanic wreckage.
If I'm being honest with you, I know what they're looking for. And I get my theories from the Quran. They're looking for Yatta George and Matta George. These are some people that came before that was encaved on a. It says in a mountain under the earth. So these people are meant to be under earth. Now, where's the water? Underneath us.
Yeah.
So what were they really looking for, bro?
No, it doesn't. So it doesn't make sense for them to go and look for the Titanic. The only reason why I'm saying that.
Let's just say, for argument's sake, they was looking for the Titanic.
Bro, it's 12,500 feet. Bro, you can't even get down there, bro. But the scuba diver, from what I've just read, only went 1,090, right? Even the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, is only 2,717 feet into the ocean. There's still 9,700 feet left for them to go down. So you see these 5 people that jumped in this submarine, I don't know what they were thinking, bro. It don't make no sense. Like, what are they going to see in complete darkness?
Nothing.
Like, wait, furthermore, how many windows were in this submarine?
No one knows. Who even knows if that submarine's real? With AI and technology that we have today and movie and Hollywood, could you really be 100% confident that that's real?
Brother, there was only one window, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, there was no window. I'm telling you that the air pressure down there was so peak, it would bend metal.
True.
Do you know air pressure's mad, you know, bro? Have you felt air pressure before when it hits you? It's like, have you ever come out of an airplane, yeah, and felt the wind? Have you ever been in a high building, yeah, and you felt the wind hitting you?
Yeah.
It's because the higher you go, the more the wind hits. The lower you go, the same thing, it does a different type of thing. You see, the space and the sea are the same thing. People don't understand this. The same thing that happens to you when you go up is the same thing that happens when you go down too far. There's certain levels that we're not meant to reach. It's not for us to even comprehend. So there has to be something greater than all of us that someone's looking for. And this is why I said they're looking for Yatta George and Matta George. Yeah? They're looking for these creatures because these creatures were put under the earth.
Yeah.
By a guy called Dhul-Qarnayn. Bro, this story is deeper than what it looks like. They want to release these people, bro. Because they know these people are going to come to destroy the earth. It's part of them getting closer to the Dajjal, bro. This is what this is all about. Antichrist, Dajjal, however you want to say it. This is what we're fighting right now. There's a fight between good and evil. No human being out there right now watching this can tell me why they wanted to go and find the Titanic. And they risked a human's lives for the past. To say what? We discovered this or that.
But you know, I've got. So basically, from what I've just researched, there actually supposedly is about 10 submarines that can actually go to the depth of the Titanic, which is 13,000 feet. But then, which confuses me is the Titanic sitting on the bottom of the ocean bed? Or is it floating? Like, can you go deeper? That's what I'm trying to say, than 13,000 feet.
My thing is this. Water and fire are similar in two things. Eventually, water will just dissolve something. You think something's sitting in the sea forever, bro? Even that concept there is kind of stupid if you really think about it. Deep that concept of what you're actually saying. It's like, if that's the case, then all of that water that has metal or stuff in it is in the sea. The sea should be destroyed by now. But the sea is such a vast landmass that what it does is, even if it was at the bottom of the sea, there'll be animals that are playing with it and smashing it, and eventually it will erode. Stuff erodes, no? Doesn't thing erode after time?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Pressure, erosion. Pressure, erosion, and salt water. Salt water, certain times, is like dissolvent blood. It can dissolve stuff. Could you imagine how salty the water is at the bottom? Where are we getting these concepts that Reality of science doesn't exist in the sea. Like, as if the sea doesn't have an existence of science in it. Like, there's no science to it. I can just jump out and start swimming and be like, yeah, I'm cool. Like, there's not going to be some things that's wrong. How can something be in a position, and how do you know exactly where it is? Because wouldn't it move? Even if it was there, does it sit there and just lock in, or does it move about? Because I'm pretty sure if I put something in the sea, if I put something in that little river just there, it's going to float to somewhere else, no?
No, I see your point. More or less what I'm trying to understand is like, all right, cool. They say there's no communication with them whatsoever. Like they've lost communication. What is it, 30 minutes from when they went down in there? The GPS or telecommunications cut off?
They knew this was going to happen, bro. Because if they say they got submarines before that can go to the bottom, they know that this is part of the possibility.
No, they should be able to find them then.
Yeah, but...
That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
there's no finding them. According to them, they're dead, bro. You couldn't survive under there. Don't you get it? There was no surviving going that far. You can drop like a camera that probably is made to drop down there, but you can't put human life. It's impossible. That's why. So when they said they got submarines, they got little machines that they could probably have submarines that they can send down there. Mm. But they can't send a human physically.
So do you know what? Yeah, which is kind of even more confusing then, right? Because let's just assume they find the Titanic.
Sweet.
So let's just assume they find the Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Now, what do? Do they then get out with their suits on and go into the Titanic?
They can't because the pressure's too much.
So I just don't understand. What was the point of doing that?
This is what I said.
There's not even enough windows in there. The only window is from what the driver can see. So what, are they just going to see a little peephole of it? That's what I'm trying to say, bro. Like, they're all crammed up in a small little submarine and they can't even look out the window to see what they went down there for. That's mad, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand.
So one of the key motives attributed to the Illuminati in this conspiracy is desire to reshape global politics and economics. You understood? The Federal Reserve changed the whole world because all currencies in the world were trading with the dollar at one time. The dollar will always be on the stock market. That's why you have new people like BRICS, which is from China, Russia, that are building their own currency where they're trying to take back the power from the West. Because everything's traded in dollars.
Yeah.
If you go to Africa and you want to do business with someone, they'll say, how much dollars do you have?
Because they're sick and tired of all the sanctions that the US are giving.
Yeah, so the US is I think it's the trading standard for the world, basically. And that came from the Federal Reserve because of how they created it. Does it make sense? Oh, you want some money? We can give you money. We can help a currency and make it stable. Which, in hindsight, is not a bad thing. But when it comes to control, it is. So, the theory suggests that the Titanic carried influential individuals such as wealthy businessmen, politicians, and members of prominent families who opposed the Illuminati's plan for a new world order. By eliminating these individuals, the Illuminati sought to eliminate potential threats to their agenda and ensure the continued concentration of power in their hands. Furthermore, the sinking of the Titanic is believed to have served as a distraction from other significant events happening at the time. Some proponents of this theory argue that the sinking was orchestrated to divert attention away from the political, social, and economic issues that could have led to greater awareness and resistance against the Illuminati's influence. So again, why are me and you here talking about the Illuminati when our gas prices are going up, everything's going up? Do you know inflation is probably going to go up again by the end of this month?
But the maddest thing is I heard that Russia hasn't even banned Europe from even receiving their gas. They haven't even done that. What it is you got a group of rich people that are like, forget you, Russia, we don't need you. But then with that same attitude, they're all right with the gas price. They don't really care. But it's the people that are living in, the everyday life. They're the ones that are really affected by it.
But do you think that people don't know that would affect us to a point of starvation? What happens when people start suffering, bro? I question, what happens when people start suffering?
Well, just look at what the pandemic did. People were going mad over toilet roll.
So what do you think happens when people...
Chaos.
chaos. And with chaos, what does that bring?
Control. And this is where the saying comes from. Out of chaos will come control.
So my whole point of view is, why would you want to create chaos? Is because you want to be able to control it. Why do you create terrorisms? So you can create heroes that go into other places and act like they're helping.
Oh, man.
Why do you create a food crisis? So you can be the top food provider to everybody. Everything that they create is for a reason. Nothing's done out of chance. We're in 2023, bro. I can... If I told you that I'd be able to have a computer where I'm talking to an AI bot that is giving me information on everything I want to know, you'd say I'm crazy. If I told you I could write a script for a movie in 1 hour, you would say that I've lost my mind, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, it's true.
I can write a script for a whole movie right now, and we can act it out here.
We've come such a long way. Like, even when you was just giving that example, look how they used to preserve meat.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to put salt all over it, right? And I remember that because we went to the Tudors castle in school. Do you know what I mean? Like Henry VIII and that chopping off
Tudors castle.
I'm telling you. But we went there, so and seeing that. But then if you was to tell Henry VIII that you don't need to put salt on your meat anymore, you know, you could put it in a freezer.
Do you think you're crazy?
Probably chop your head off.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? What nonsense is this guy talking about? So I think what it is, it's like reality is what we're currently living in now. And I think the truth is subjective to always change. You know? One truth can, like, so look, it's a bit of a catch-22 when we talk about the truth in general, right? Mm-hmm. Because the truth, when we talk in terms of God terms, that will not change. But in terms of our truth and what we experience within our lives changes all the time. You know, it's like, for example, look at the things that they push in front of our face about global warming, right? Now, if we all believe that global warming is real, right, which personally, in my opinion, I don't believe in global warming, but let's just go on that principle. You would say that the UK is quite a cold country to live in, right? Now, that would be a truth. Now, if it becomes suddenly hot in the winter now, then saying that the UK was a cold country doesn't become the truth anymore. It used to be the truth. So I think the point I'm trying to make is that I think the truth is subjective, in my opinion, and it will always change based on what people feel and what they think, and the communities make the truth. Want their truth anyway. Sort of makes sense.
Truth and lies are one, because you can't tell the truth without someone believing it's a lie. So we could be spitting truth right now about JP Morgan. JP Morgan's sitting there saying, "You lot are lying on my name."
Yeah, but he would have a strong case to go on and say that.
Who, him?
Yeah, 110%. Because look, it's like the fact of where I said that you're not being caught bang to rights. Like, do you know what I think is so interesting is that everyone has information about the Titanic. Everyone has information about JP Morgan's life. But in the moment that he went away in the Titanic, do we have any information about that? What did he do? What was so important that JP Morgan that he couldn't be there? Because if there's no information about that, that already is worrying in itself. Bear in mind, it says that he left with one of his friends as well. Okay?
Which friend?
Milton Hersey. Friend of JP Morgan, Milton Hersey, also cancelled at the last moment and survived to build the Hersey food empire.
So this machine is protecting ChatGPT is protecting JP Morgan, and let me tell you why. So I read who's the founder of the Federal Reserve. It gave me Woodrow Wilson. It gave me Paul Warburg, and it gave me Nelson Aldrich, And then after that, it just said other key figures. I said, was JP Morgan involved? And I listened to what they say. Yes, one of the most influential American financiers of the time was involved in the creation of the Federal Reserve. So why didn't he mention that before?
I think, you see with ChatGPT, it's just so subjective to what information it can give you that's actually accurate. And I only say that from experience, you know? Like, I'm a programmer. I can ask ChatGPT, write me a programming script, and it necessarily won't give me the correct program that works. I would need to go and fiddle with it and make it work, right?
Does it give you a skeleton though?
Yeah, it's pretty much good at understanding how it should be written, you know, which is good enough. And if you want to look at it from that perspective, yeah, and it does it pretty well. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but it's just one of the things that I honestly think that we have to take ChatGPT with a little pinch of salt sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Because it does actually feed information from various sources. So I honestly think ChatGPT uses RSS feeds as well from different websites.
What makes you say that? I don't think it does.
110%, because it's only got knowledge from, 2021 to say?
Maybe we don't know where.
But that's what they say though anyway. And where would that information come across? Like, I'll give you an example. When I was looking at research and development, tax credits, okay, the law changed, okay? Meaning, all right, so for example, for every £1 that you spend on research and development, the government will give you 130% off tax write-off. So that means for every £1, they'll give you £2.30 back, right? As a tax write-off. You spend £1, you know you're going to write off £1 anyway. So it's 130% more. The laws have changed. When I spoke to a research and development tax accountant, they told me, no, that's not accurate. So ChatGPT is giving you information, but you need to be some form of an expert when you go over it. Do you know what I mean? Like even solicitors, it's like you can ask ChatGPT to write your contract and it pretty much give you a nice blueprint of one. But I guarantee you're going to want a solicitor to go over that to make sure that these laws are in today's time and they're accurate. And that's the only thing I would say about ChatGPT. But it does give you a good understanding and a blueprint of what stuff is. Yeah, I would say that, I guess. But I think, look, yeah, this is, you see, as me and you are talking now, I think a lot of people are doing this, right? They're thinking what happened. And they've probably come with the same sort of theories that me and you have come up with today, right? And, you know, we've seen news, information on the news. We've heard of the Titanic growing up, watching Romeo and Juliet and whatever not, do you understand? Some love story. Was that even true? Part of the Titanic? Or was that just added on? Like the Romeo and Juliet stuff?
The way they made it look in the movie?
Yeah.
No, that was all fake, man.
That was all fake, man. See, they're trying to rub us off without...
That was dramatized, man.
Do you know what I mean? When we think of the Titanic, we think of those. Yeah. But we don't actually think about how severe the incident is.
If I'm honest.
So it wasn't even Romeo and Juliet, was it?
No, but I know you're talking about that. It was Leonardo DiCaprio and the girl.
Yeah. Because Leonardo DiCaprio plays in the Romeo and Juliet guy, so I
it reminds me of a love story.
yeah. So I think maybe they put that out to kind of rub out the negative about the Titanic story as such as that. But
I generally think, like I said, I end on this, man. They, if I'm honest, are looking for the... I told you, man, it's not a conspiracy. My thing's actually real. They're looking for Yahjuj and Mahjuj. They want them to come out of the earth.
So for the listeners that are listening in, like who are they?
These are people that came before that
are they people? Are they jinns? Are they angels? What are they?
They're actually living people, bro. That they was a tribe of people that was causing absolute havoc on the earth. They were just killing, and there was so much of them, meaning that to every human there was like 10,000 of them.
So are we talking about the time of Noah?
These people...
Were they a part of that Canaanite?
No, they was part of the time of Dhul Qarnayn. So Dhul Qarnayn is mentioned in the Quran in Surah Al-Kahf. He's mentioned at the end when the people said, these people, they keep doing this to us. Can you build a barrier between us and them? And he built a barrier over them, and he said, you lot will be locked here until the day of judgment. And until the coming of the day of judgment. But when these people do come on earth, they cause the maddest, they kill everything they see in sight. And there's only one person that defeats them, and that's Isa alayhi salam. And then when Isa's here, so is the Dajjal. So we're going to be in the time of the final hour. This is the time when it's peak. And I feel like we're there right now, even though people might think, you've gone too far with this. Trust me, we're not. As much as you think we are, we're not. Look at the world around you now and look how it's changing. Look closely at the world and how it's changing. Evil has become widespread on the land to the point where it's so apparent that something that we used to like when we was innocent and young, the rainbow, has now been transformed as a symbolization of a whole nation of people.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
The rainbows is the most purest thing on the planet because colors never harmed anyone. Black, red, white, grey, blue, orange. It makes you feel good. The rainbow's meant to symbolize hope. Now it symbolizes something that some people ethically, morally, and religiously don't believe in.
Do you know what I think it's a lot more dangerous because even if we look at Adam and Eve, okay? Who was the weaker vessel?
I would say both, personally. I'll say both. I'd say the evil one there was the shaitan. Because what people don't actually understand is that shaitan...
No, but who did shaitan
both of them
approach first?
Both of them. But Adam was warned by Allah to protect his family. He was warned and he never listened.
And so who was the person that ate from the forbidden tree first?
You know that story, yeah? I feel like Christians dramatize that one. Like it was the woman, so the woman's bad, the woman's this. But I don't actually believe it was... I think this is what my honest belief is. The shaitan caused them both to slip. Because it wasn't just her that got kicked out. It was both of them that got kicked out. Because even if, for instance, your wife's saying, this apple is the forbidden fruit. And I'm like, babes, let me take a bite as well. But God never commanded my wife. He commanded you. Because why? Men are leaders.
True.
Now, look at society today, what it's trying to say. Women are leaders.
No, but the reason why, I'm saying that women necessarily could be the weaker vessels because look at it from this perspective, right? Women are more acceptant of things than men. Now, what do I mean by that, right? We have someone who's lesbian and gay. Let's just say like someone who's gay. They're more likely to accept them as being friends, right? But if we look at women, they have loads of gay friends. We look at men, do we have loads of stud friends? Do we have loads of gay women friends? Overall, like actually deep and actually think about that. Right?
I never thought about that.
And you know when you actually sit and you actually think about it from that perspective,
I never thought about that.
It's like the woman, you know, so for example, being acceptance of all of the lesbian and gay community and such, then you've got the transgender now coming in, okay? And now the transgender is now going to say that they're the new woman.
They already said that already.
So through the women accepting that, by accepting them in, is why a transgender person can say that. It wasn't the man who said and accepted that. We want our women to listen as men. If they're not listening to us, then how can we say anything?
That's a deep...
It's a lot deeper. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's
deep.
why when I put that example in terms of who was the weaker vessel, you know, it seems like they go for our women first. That's how they break down our families.
Facts. Now you're on my wave now. Because that
Do you see what I'm saying, my bro? It's just a lot. It's a lot deeper than that. So that's why I'm saying.
I didn't even look at it as that deep standpoint there, but seeing it now, what you just said.
That's why I'm saying in terms of Adam and Eve. Eve was the weaker vessel because she was the one that was influenced.
I feel like both were influenced at that time.
No. Who influenced Adam though? But listen, you see, if my wife comes to me, yeah, my wife can have influence over man.
Yeah, of course.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Men simp. You know that word simp for women? Come on, my bro.
Yeah, it's real.
We start accepting things because a woman said it was all right. Like, you know, it's being in touch with your feminine side to say, you know.
But
So,
then at the same time, I would say that this is the reason why it's dangerous for men to take advice from women, because women have been known to be giving men bad advice. It's historically known that women are known to giving men bad advice. Not to say women can't give good advice, but the advice that they're going to give is from a more of a feminine standpoint on a thing. But I would say 9 out of 10 advices a woman gives you is going to be bad. I'm going to be honest. Because women are known to lie about things that are trivial. So a woman will say, oh, your hair looks good, girl. She doesn't think her hair looks good.
do you know, let's put it from this perspective, because I think everyone will be able to understand, right? Because I've been there before, and probably you have too. See, when you was younger, have you ever asked a woman for advice on how to get women?
Never.
Okay, I have.
Biggest mistake of your life.
Right, no, this is what I'm saying. When you actually deep it now, how are they going to tell you how to attract another woman? They can't. Because if we look at a deer, as men, we're hunters. We go after the deer. Do you understand? Well, you think I'm going to ask a deer how I should capture you?
Facts.
Doesn't make any... It don't make any sense, bro.
So
you're gonna be oblivious to anything that. That's what I'm saying, and it's ludicrous to assume that, you know, you're gonna attract a woman because you want to listen to what she wants. I mean, we know what women are really attracted to is mysterious people.
100%.
Do you understand? It's the fact that they can't put a finger on you. Like, I don't understand. Like, who is he? Like, why does he think the way he does? Do you know what I mean? It's never the guy that they're into that is, you know, come in the room and notice them straight away and say, hi, how are you? It's a guy that doesn't pay them no mind.
Free game 101, Rare Talks. Make sure you go and check out. And we've been saying this, homie. We've been saying this. This is like gospel music to me, like, because like we've been saying this because we kind of understood this a long time ago, but not to diverge too far off the topic.
Yeah, of course.
Let's say, for argument's sake, yeah, JP Morgan was involved. He did sink Titanic. I'm pretty sure JP Morgan's dead.
Yeah, he is.
So,
but listen, JP Morgan was a very known man, yeah. But JP Morgan had a very disgusting nose. Yeah? His nose was disgusting.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Damn, son.
His nose, he hated his nose, supposedly. Right? So everyone who had a conversation with him was definitely looking at
his... You know what year he died in?
What year?
You wouldn't believe it. 1913.
That's only around the corner, my bro. He's living at the same age as my grandma and that.
No, 1913.
That's when he died?
Yeah, he died the same year that he created the Federal Reserve.
That's crazy. Maybe they wiped him out. How old did he when he died? It's so important to be educated about these things. But look, yeah, you go down a rabbit hole of not actually knowing what the truth is to a degree. Because if JP Morgan or no witnesses were around at the time to confirm what is true or not, then you'll never know. We don't actually have any video evidence or such. But all we can go is on theories and conspiracies. But look, guys, you just got to think about common sense here, right? And what I mean by that is, why would I spend several $1 million on a boat party and make sure I'm not there to be a part of it? Like that's point blank. I'll be honest with you. I am not funding everyone to have fun and I'm not there. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. You know, there were so many important people on that ship. And of course, we all know that it was more than just having a party. It was there just to create some sort of business networking opportunities. Do you know? I just don't understand what could be so important to come up. You know, was one of his kids are in hospital? You know, did someone close to him die?
Look at this guy's face. This is his dad. This is JP Morgan's dad.
He looks mysterious.
What does he look? What does he look like to you?
Don't know. He just looks like a man, innit?
He looks like Dracula.
I said Dracula, you know.
This is how they paint Dracula.
Let me see that photo again. Yeah, man's got a... Yeah, I know. Where do you think vampires are real?
I don't think vampires are real, but I definitely know that the jinns are real.
Yeah.
And some of these people look like jinns to me. It's got bare stuff about them, man. But in hindsight, and looking back, anybody that is paying attention to the Titanic in 2023 is a loser. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
You've lost. Because you're wasting time on something that you can't change. If it's sunk, it's sunk. What is there to discover about it? Like, on a deeper note, like, why do we love... And this is the problem with humans. Mm-hmm. And this is the reason why man will always be deficient. He goes to seas to look for shores of things that he already has at home. Deep what I just said to you. Because I know that went over your head and up in the air. A man will sell the seas to look for treasure that he's already got at home. That is the byproduct of men. We have always been polyamorous. By even the Titanic. Why are we searching for something years back? For what? For discovery. We love to discover. We love to conquer. We love to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
That knowing. Yeah, I done that. Okay. But there was nothing there except for...
But there's even more evidence, like, to not even go there. Like, how can you not... They've got, obviously, the blueprints of how the ship was built.
They don't
Do you know, like, they don't, like... What is there to really find out that is fascinating about the Titanic that you could not find out?
1913. But then, do you know? Remember what 1914 was? I bet you don't remember this. What year was World War I, bro?
I have no idea.
1914. 1912. Listen to this. Listen to this timeline. I'm going to mash you up right now. 1912, the Titanic sank. Mm-hmm. The biggest world event. 1913, the Federal Reserve was made. 1914, there's a world war. All by conspiracy, yeah?
Wait, when you're saying World War One, who was that between? Was that Germany and England?
Bro, that was the whole world at war, bro. World War One was the world at war.
So everyone was fighting each other.
All right, let me show you something. If America and England are allies, England's got dominance over bare countries, Jamaica, India, this and that. Remember they were English colonies.
Yeah.
So if I'm at war, I get who? The people that are in my colonies to come fight, no?
Yeah, I believe that there was.
So that means that people from all over the world was fighting, bro. It's called World War. Is called the whole world is at war.
Yeah, true. There was only 24 countries that weren't colonized, though.
Bro, it wasn't like, oh, you know what? Let me go to war. England and Germany are having a problem. I declare war on you. All right, no problem. I'm going to fight you as well. It doesn't work like that. Germany was bigger than what it was now. Mm-hmm. Yeah? And there's so many reasons. Oh, this caused it. This person died. That person dies. They all said it was an assassination of an
But all of these people making money off bonds, though. So when people go to war, they buy bonds, right? To see who's gonna win the war. Like that's what they do, and they profit off it.
Of course they do.
It's like with the war with Russia and Ukraine, people are making money off that war right now.
Look. I'm gonna break something down to you. I've just made some new technology. Mm-hmm. I made bare guns, bare bombs, bare weapons. But guess what? You know what the problem is, Shaq? I know this stuff works on things, but how does it work on humans? Do I just get a line of people and just start testing out the weapons? Or do I make a fake war happen and then test out the weapons on innocent people? And we can see if these weapons are effective or not. Does these planes really fly? Does this really work? Does this work? How does that work? People weren't warring for years and centuries. New modern day warfare. We need to test it out, see how it works.
But this shit's evil, man. I'll be honest with you.
Now, who profits from war the most? The bank. How? How does the bank profit from war? How?
Because they probably buy all of the shovels and invest in all of those companies.
Do you think bullets are free? Tell me right now you can buy bullets for free, even if we're on the roads. You think there's free bullets? Yeah, brother. Hey, take this bullet and go murder my man with it. You have to pay for shells, bro.
Yeah, and they obviously
that's the
invested
streets.
in it.
This is hundreds of thousands of shells. How do you have the revenue to do that? You need to borrow money. That's why there was something called, I think, not the Great Depression, the Great Recession. Do you remember that? Happened after the World War. Why? Because of money. Because war costs money.
But when people realize, that's when JP Morgan came in. No, but this is there was many Great Recessions, because I remember I was watching something where America was under this Great Depression, and then JP Morgan came in. This is why, for one, I need to be a bit more educated on these topics, man, because then I can actually break it down and learn more. But it's quite clearly obvious that there's a lot of madness that is going on in the world and that. And you know what? I feel like at some point you have to figure out where the root of where this all started. And this is why I feel like history is really important. And I need to actually get into understanding about World War I and World War II, because that will help us understand how all of these things are into fruition today, why they're actually messing us up or why they're actually benefiting us.
Everything that's happening today is for a reason. That's number one. Number two, don't be naive to what people class as conspiracies are actually real life truths.
Yeah.
So let's not call anything a conspiracy anymore. Let's call it real life truth, because that's what it is at the moment. Whether you want to believe it or not, there is an elite of people that do have control over things. That's why when our money went down, it actually went down. There was nothing that we could do. Like, deep what I'm saying to you, bro.
No, I hear you still.
When our money went down, our money went down. There's nothing that we could do. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we know this. You know what I'm saying? Who's knocking on?